What's up, everyone? Back again with a video. This time it's not on the Subaru. Walk around it. It's been doing pretty good here lately. No problems. It's really dirty. A lot of body work. Fixing to start doing on that. But right now it's become my daily since I was in a wreck and the BRZ's now gone. So everything's, let's kind of go over this one real quick, but everything's going great on it. Oh, let's see, it's hot out here right now. It's probably about 85, 86 degrees. With the humidity it feels like about 95, so I try to keep the heat out of here as best as possible with all the black interior. And of course it's pretty dirty in here, so don't mind anything. There's my homemade air conditioner that's actually coming out. I got a smaller one I'm going to put in here. Solar powered. There's another little solar panel up in the back. Keeps drawing the alternator down, and that way I can pull it out and move it to anywhere I want to at any time. Let's see, let's pan around here. My normal camera is having issues, so kind of recording with a GoPro here. I have no idea what all I'm recording, but thought I'd give you guys an update since it's been a while. Let's see, let me key on here. Of course, I used to have a problem, which I'm pretty sure I've got it fixed now. Used to, when I get ready to start the car, I could hit the key on it and it would just click like a bad starter. Of course, I've been through like 3 or 4 different starters. Wasn't the problem. I went through a couple different batteries. Of course, one was an AutoZone battery, and then the other one was a what was it? It was an Interstate battery, I think, but it was like a comparable replacement to the AutoZone one. And then here lately, it's been doing the same thing. It was okay for the first few days, and it got to where it started doing the same thing, and it's just been slowly getting worse and worse and worse. But finally, I went ahead and pulled the trigger, got me an Optima battery, and so far so good. Every now and then I get the issue, but it's probably loose terminals. I bought new terminals. I'm just waiting on those to show up. But just going over the inside here: Apex E, FC Commander, AEM, air fuel ratio, Blitz DC gauges, Kenwood head unit. But anyways, let's see if it's gonna start up right away. Yep. And of course she runs good. Everything here sits normal. I did recently have a problem with startup idle, and which it kind of is experiencing it still. It fixed itself, but it's starting to come back. I don't know, I'll probably do some more tuning on the Commander. But it got to where when it first started, it was like it didn't want to just start. It just load, and then it would pick up like it's doing now. That would also happen under deceleration when I would come to a stop at like a stoplight. And of course, right now my air fuel ratio is a little lean. In which, when I come to a stop, it would go all the way around to 10 or 11 and would sit there for just a couple seconds or so until it kind of worked itself out, and it would come back around to where it should be. Once it warms up, my air fuel ratio does kind of level out a little better. But it still kind of does it sometimes. I did a, what was it, the idle relearn procedure, which on these you're not supposed to. It's the FC Commander. You can do it from the Commander here, but when you do it, it erases your tune. So I had problems with the USB driver on my laptop, so there's actually problem after problem after problem. I finally got everything worked out and got it to where it's running good. I did the idle relearn procedure. It's ran fine for about a week. Now it's kind of doing it again. I don't know if I need to redo the idle learn procedure. I'm wondering if it's a different temperature change, because it's starting to get summertime. It's starting to get hotter during the day. Earlier in the mornings it's hotter, so I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Because with the tuning on this thing, I have to constantly work on the tune. In the mornings it'll be too rich, in the evenings it's too lean. So that's I'm thinking that has something to do with it, since it is a standalone. It just does whatever. Open the door here. Of course, it's super loud. It's a Subaru. backfires a lot. Here we go. Good. So the air fuel ratios. It used to do that like really bad, like to the point of where I was thinking it was gonna die in traffic. Yeah, it's all right now. Smell a little bit of fuel. It's still doing it now. It does it pretty bad when it's cold. Once it gets up to about 80 degrees Celsius, it'll fix itself out. No boost leaks or anything like that. It's something in the tune, because I can do the auto relearn procedure and it works fine. So, but anyways, enough of that one. I'm going to show you what I have been working on, since I haven't been working on this. As you can tell, like, it's junky in the back. I need to clean it out. It's being neglected because it's the daily. I got carpet pulling loose I need to fix. Random clips I need to replace. Yeah, the list goes on. This one, before too long, we'll be back in the shop getting some body work done. I'll probably do like some random stuff on the inside, fix things up. And I say that I'm going to be doing body work because, ta-da! This is my new project. Sorry for the fan. Sorry for the mess as well. I have been kind of busy. I know that looks like a mess of parts all through here. This is a 1984 300ZX Turbo. I've owned this car for coming up on 2 years now. This was a turbo version. It did not have the digital dash or gauges or anything like that. It had been sitting outside of a guy's backyard under a tree. And it was protected to a point, but it was still pretty rough. Had a lot of rust, I think, from the T-tops leaking on it, which that is another cool thing from the 80s, T-tops. But I had planned to just buy it, replace the turbo, because that's what the reason why the guy was selling it. He actually sold it fairly cheap. He was wanting like $600 for it. Of course, when I get there, he started with the oh, there's new tires on it, so that's going to be extra, unless I can pull those off and put those on my 240. And then he realized, oh wait, these are 5-lug, so I'm going to need more money. And of course, you know, at the time, you know, I went ahead and gave him an extra $30 or so, I think it was, for the new tires that he cleaned. But once I got home, I found out that one of them is not the same as the other three, and looks kind of used. So, you know, whatever. But I had a blow turbo. I finally got the motor out of it. You can see it sitting over there. The inside was shot. It smells like, what's the best way to describe this? Like a wet garbage, or no, a wet paper sack with moldy insulation inside. That's what this car smelled like. And when I got it out from under dude's tree and got it here, it was loaded. It's all original. The seats were covered up with like garbage bags and are in really good shape. Here's, I don't know which seat that is. I believe that's the driver's seat. You know, everything's they're still soft. All the, you know, the seat's still in pretty good shape. I am redoing them though anyways. I've kind of got the passenger one tore apart, just trying to figure out, you know, what it's made of so I can know what to replace it with. But I guess in the 80s, burlap and horsehair was like the thing to do. So I'm going to pull all of this out, and I'm going to kind of bring it a little more new aged by replacing like all this stuff and this burlap with actual let's see, the name escapes me, Kevlar on the springs, so that way you don't feel the individual springs when you sit against it. And then as a padding, instead of the horsehair, I'm going to actually get foam and do it that way. I've got some tricks I'm going to try too. Let's see, I'm going to move around the back of the front, or the driver's seat here. All right, on the driver's seat, you'll notice this like kind of, it's vinyl, but it's like it's got like a particle board backing on it, and it's stiff, and in this area it's wide open. And what I've always wanted, well, I say always wanted, with a new car, when I had the BRZ, it was the kind of the base model BRZ, because I didn't want the full-on push button start and all that stuff because, you know, there's problems. But I kind of miss some of the creature comforts that came with like the premiums and stuff that some other people that I know that have more luxurious cars get, that, you know, I don't want to pay like a fortune for no reason, you know, to get when I could do that same stuff myself. So what I have planned to do, and this is like total like out of the blue, I don't even know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it. One of them I know is going to work. I'm going to do heated seats. You know, you get the universal seat pads to go in here, and which, you know, that's no problem, no big deal. But I have a couple of other things that I'm going to try. They're going to be like little surprises. Well, actually, I'm going to make one of them a surprise. I'm going to tell you about the other one. The other one I'm going to try to do, I told you I was going to refoam the seat and everything, but what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to install a cooling system, kind of like newer cars use to have cooled seats. So it's not like an air conditioner system built into the seat. Most cars nowadays use a fan type system, so the air conditioner from the vehicle has to be running to create the cool air to pull into the seat, and either you can pump cool air in or pump the hot air out. It just, you know, depends on how they set it up. But I'm going to try a few different ways, do some more research while I'm still rebuilding all the seats and everything. I had some rust repair. This one, just as of today, just cut out a big section on this one. I had to go out and buy a grinder, Harbor Freight special. They're having a big tent sale, so it was like 20 bucks. Pack of discs to go with it were like $6. And then I got a welder to go with it. That was on sale as well. I think they're normally like 200 bucks. It was 80 bucks. So I got that. I'm going to try my hand at welding. Weld at work, not all the time. It's just kind of a if it needs to be done type deal. So I do have some experience with welding. I'm not an expert at any means. But on this side, here's the piece that I cut out. Let's see if I can fit it up in here. Alright, so as you can tell, that was a pretty good sized rust hole right there. So there's no way that was going to get patched. There was one on the other side. Now, when I bought the car and it was sitting under dude's tree, I walked by it and I noticed this hole right here, and of course, you know, I could put my foot up in it, you know, so I knew I needed the replacement, but there was, you know, trunk foam and everything down in there, and the spare was still in there, which it's not there now. So you know, over time of messing with it, I found out the rust hole was a lot larger than, you know, originally thought. But it's still nothing that I can't fix myself or have confidence in myself in replacing. The back here, I'm pretty sure the T-tops leaked fairly bad. I hope the fan's not making too much noise there. But the T-tops, I think they leaked pretty bad, because this whole back section here, this is all new carpet. The original carpet was completely shot and smelt horrible. So $400, I got brand new ultra plush. You know, this is the super thick stuff, the kind of stuff that, like, when you get inside, you like almost want to take your shoes off, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's got the rubber backing on it and everything. But underneath here, oh, it has the sound deadening on it too. Underneath here, all of this was rusty. Actually, you can see the trunk hatch release and the gas tank release right there. I have to replace that because that's broken. I'm still on the search for that. But all this area right here you see is I've reprimed everything. I wasn't really, you know, too worried about, you know, trying to make it look professional or anything, but I was really more so going for just coverage because there was so much rust back here. It literally took me a whole weekend of you know, sanding and grinding to get all this out and recoat it again. So but it's primered underneath. I'm going to add some more sound deadening in this car. You'll see, like right here in this fender where they had original factory sound deadening, I had to pull all of that out because it was old and rotted and moldy and stinky and, you know, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to pull all that out, or already have pulled it out. I'm going to put back, once I get that piece welded in, I'm going to put back in just aftermarket just pieces of it. You get, it looks just like this. I've got it before when I was doing that car. It was the J.C. Whitney, I think is where I got it. It's like I can get it in like a big roll for like $6 or $7. But that it's the hatch area looks so much better now with the new carpet. Up on the front, this is the carpet for the inside. Of course, you know, same thing. I think I went with a different color. Yes, I did go with a different color because what was in the car originally was more of a silverish color. kind of match the seats over there. But I went with the blue because it would match the dash and everything else, and it does actually look better. I ordered little splotches and tried different color combinations. I had black and the blue, and I had a different shade of blue, and I had a silver to closely match what was in here. But the only problem was with the silver, it kind of made the door panels here, and I'm not sure how these are going to light up because of the lighting, here in the building and what the camera may pick up. But that looks, if you take a silver spot, right now it looks silver, but if you were to take a silver piece of carpet and put in the car, that looks like a baby blue. So I just went ahead and went with the darker blue, and it would all work out anyways. All right. Let's see. Of course, tearing through all this, I've had a couple rust spots. One right there where that seat bolts in, and one in the exact same spot over on that side. See, I still have to take this door apart. I got to replace this right here. You can't get in and out. But this is a pretty awesome car. I've never owned a Nissan before. This car here, I just so happened to come across it on Craigslist, looking for just sports cars, rear-wheel drive sports cars, because I was wanting to sell my BRZ. Unfortunately, I got wrecked after I got this one. This one had been sitting here for like a year before my BRZ got wrecked. So no more car note. So all the money can go into mods on this one. But all I have now is the black car, and it's almost summertime. No AC. So this one did have AC. The guy claimed it had AC. When I got it, the belt, instead of just removing the belt on the AC compressor, he removes the pulley that goes over to the AC compressor. So I don't know if he's just bullshitting me or what. But when I got the car, nothing worked in it. None of the gauges worked. Anything. It started up surprisingly. It had been mistreated. Dude mistreated this car. The owner before him, though, there was a paperwork in the glove box where the owner before him notated when everything was done, oil changes, tire rotations. They replaced the exhaust at one point in time. So it'd been taken care of by another owner, but then the guy I got it from just completely abused it, and then when it broke, parked it. I don't know if he's the one that caused some body damage. Right there, I've fixed this a little bit. It still needs a little more work, and then I'm gonna fix it with like Bondo and stuff to kind of finish it on out. Up here I had to straighten that out because it was kind of bent where this was bent. Right here you can tell front bumper beam, it's kind of all out of whack there. I've tried heating that up and beating on it to try to straighten it out, and that's about as best I could get. Whatever it was a pretty hard lick right here, just due to the fact that it crunched that in and caused this section to dimple. And I've tried to fix that best I could. It made the bumper fit better, but there's the bumper right there, and you can see whatever it was a pretty good lick. I'm repainting this car too. This color of this car, I'm not sure what it is, but it's funny because it reminds me a lot of my I used to have a 91 Ford Ranger, and it was almost this exact same color, and even when the paint faded on the hood, it looked almost exactly like this fender here. But yeah, this thing, it's got a lot of miles on it too. Let's see how many it's got to be exact. It's 300 and some odd miles. 306,479. So yeah, it's got a lot of miles on it. The VG30 was a very stout engine. It's what Nissan used back in the 80s and 90s, and a lot of the cars. And it was over-engineered. So even with 300,000 miles on it, when I pulled it out, there was still a lot on this motor that was still in good shape. I was surprised when I got it at a dude's yard that just with a good battery on it, it's fired right up and just started driving. And it had no problems other than, like I said, nothing worked on it inside, in which found out there was a fuse over next to the battery that in the instance you hook the battery up backwards, it pops this fuse and it doesn't fry any of your electricals. So fix that. And it's like some weird fuse I'd never seen before. There's a lot of things I've never seen before on this Nissan because I'm used to Subarus. There's a lot of stuff that it does carry over between the two, and it's just basic knowledge that I've had with working on other things in the past. But for a 1984, this car is amazingly loaded. It was like futuristic. The ones with the digital dash, you know, I knew they were out there and everything. I really didn't care when, you know, when I found this one that, you know, I wasn't depressed or anything, because a lot of times things like that in the 80s, you know, from the 80s, I mean, I've owned like Nintendos and Super Nintendos and things like that, and even from the early 90s, those things have already broken and need replacement. So I can imagine what an 80s model digital dash would need to be replaced, you know, because there's a very slim chance of it still working unless that car was taken care of. And the way this car was taken care of, it wouldn't work. So I'm kind of glad it doesn't even have it. But it does have cruise control. It has pop-up headlights. And here's your light controls over here as well. When I did get it going and was like driving it just like around the block and everything, like I said, the turbo was blowed, so it was just, you know, putting along just to make sure it would even roll. But you could turn the headlights on even when they're down. That was pretty cool. But radio was a cassette player. It still had a cassette player in it. I thought it was original, but it turns out it wasn't, because I found one that was original, and it was like silver, kind of like the AC over there. But I'm gonna redo all that. I'm not sure what's going on with the wiring. That is kind of a mess. The 22.4 right there, it looks like something a professional aftermarket company did, or I say professional aftermarket, some aftermarket company, I won't call them professionals, but I'll just say an aftermarket company did probably late 90s, early 2000s, or probably whenever the tape player was put in it. But yeah, I'm going through the inside and replacing things. But once I fixed that, like, everything else worked. Like, once I fixed the little fuse, like, all the things worked. It has a over here we have the rear defroster. And you have window washer, rear window washer, fog lights, I think that is. Somewhere around here is the windshield. Yeah, okay. Windshield washer. All right, that is the back windshield washer, and I think, let's see, where's the? It's got a headlight washer on it too, somewhere. Oh, let's see. I don't know. It's on here somewhere, but it has a headlight washer. That was pretty cool. I noticed for like 1984. Power door locks, power windows. And you got both windows, and then your door locks was pretty cool. I've read that they had power door locks, but I mean, there's no power door lock anything. But what you do is, of course, the battery has to be in it. But when you lock the door over here like that, it automatically locks and unlocks that one according to what you're doing. So that was pretty awesome. On here, right now I'm trying to get all the sound deadening out. It still smells rotting and nasty and all that good stuff. Almost done. That right there, I thought I was done, but right there on the firewall there's like some plastic, and up under that is